Yo, what's good? Things happen in life. We all go through things. And with that, I woke up this morning, there was a video that actually popped up. I had my phone off for honestly, I don't even want my damn phone on right now either. Let me turn that bitch off. I only turned it on because YouTube was like, hey, should be able to turn it off straight from the home screen. Or not. That's fine too. So with it, anytime that I do lives, I'll always be live on TikTok. However, um, that's this right here is going to be recorded. So if you're on TikTok, congratulations, you're going to be up on here when I drop the video. I think I'm probably just going to start doing more recordings and stream them on TikTok. I'm not going to be streaming them online like that anymore. I mean, yeah, if anything, I'll probably upload them, but I'm going to go ahead and get into this video. The video is from Psycho Shift, and it's called The Psychology of Men Who Cut Everyone Off. This resonated with me because over the last couple of years, I realized that there's a lot of fake people in the world and a lot of people who just want to use you. They're not there for you. If you need anything, they disappear, or they make you feel wrong for even asking for help. And when I say asking for help, it's not like, oh, can I hold this or anything like that. It's more of, can you tell your side of the story? Can you say what happened? Because I'm getting lied on and nobody else wants to talk about what actually happened. So then with it, you got to scramble and scrounge up all the evidence and go through a shitload of fucking text messages and things like that to prove that the shit that the people are saying is lies. But there's a lot of individuals like that out in the world. And for some reason, a lot of users and things get drawn to me. So with it, I want to get into this video of the psychology of men who cut everyone off. Let's go ahead and get into it.
You've noticed him. Maybe you were him. The man who slowly, quietly, deliberately removed himself from every connection he once had. No dramatic exit. No loud goodbye. Just silence. And everyone wondered why. They called him cold. They called him distant. They said he changed. But the truth is far deeper than anyone realizes. And today, you're going to understand what nobody else could see. If you've ever cut people off or if you've watched someone do it, what you're about to hear will explain everything. The real psychology behind it. The hidden reasons. The truth that lives beneath the silence. And if something inside you already recognizes this pattern, if your chest feels tight or your breath shifts as you read these words.
So I'll go ahead and let you know right now. I will be stopping it from time to time, just providing insight. This is my real, raw, true, authentic reaction. So let's get into it.
That's not coincidence. That's recognition. Your soul already knows this story because you've lived it. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal 7 psychological truths about men who cut everyone off. And the 5th one,
I want to know what he's about to say.
Talks about, is the reason most men never come back once they leave. If you feel something stirring inside you right now, type "I understand" in the comments. Not for me, but for yourself. Because what follows will make
Do it for yourself.
Of years of confusion, pain, and transformation. Sign 1. He stopped recognizing himself in his relationships. There's a moment that happens quietly, almost invisibly. A man looks at his life, at the people around him, at the conversations he's having, and something inside him whispers, "This isn't me anymore." He doesn't feel like himself when he's with them. He doesn't sound like himself. He doesn't think like himself. It's as if he's wearing a mask that's been glued to his face for so long, he forgot he was wearing it at all. Every friendship, every relationship, every social circle has an unspoken contract. You play a role, you meet expectations, you show up as the version of yourself that keeps the peace, that keeps people comfortable, that keeps things predictable. And for years, maybe decades, he did exactly that. He was the reliable one.
I mean, for a long time, I thought that's what a man in a relationship was supposed to be. The reliable one, the provider. The one that makes shit happen. But I'm like, when you are constantly the one that makes shit happen, nobody gives a fuck unless it's theirs. So if it's not theirs, they're going to disrespect the shit out of it. I mean, at some point, you got to be like, you know what, enough is enough.
The helper, the listener, the strong one who never complained, the calm one who held it together when everyone else fell apart. But there came a moment when he realized something devastating. The person everyone knew wasn't actually him. It was a version of him that he built to survive, to fit in, to be accepted. And the more he played that role, the further he drifted from his true self. He started noticing.
Ask yourself,
exhausting
who are you?
to be around
Who am
certain
I?
people, not because they were bad, but because being with them required him to be someone he no longer wanted to be. This realization doesn't come with anger. It comes with clarity, a quiet, undeniable knowing that if he stays in these relationships, he will lose himself completely. And so he begins to pull away, not out of hatred, not out of bitterness, but out of self-preservation. He's not cutting people off to hurt them. He's cutting them off to save himself. You see, most people don't understand this. They think cutting people off is about revenge or ego or coldness. But for men who do this, it's about identity. It's about reclaiming a version of themselves that was buried under years of expectations, obligations, and performances. And once that clarity hits, there's no going back. The mask comes off. And the man underneath it is someone most people never actually knew. If you've ever felt this, if you've ever looked around at your life and thought none of this feels like me anymore, then you already know what's coming next. Because this awakening leads directly to the second psychological truth. A truth that explains why he suddenly stopped answering calls, stopped showing up, stopped engaging with people who once meant everything to him. Sign 2. He realized most connections were transactional. For years he showed up. He answered the phone at 2 a.m. He gave advice. He listened to the same problems over and over. He celebrated their wins. He supported their struggles. He was present, reliable, consistent. And he did it without asking for anything in return because that's who he was. A giver. Someone who found meaning in being there for others.
It sucks being a fucking giver. I realize, I'm like, when you're a giver, you give with no thoughts of receiving anything in return. And when people get privy to that, they will take with no expectations of ever giving anything back. So being a giver, you have to learn to set boundaries. Understand that giving is not always necessary. Solving problems is not always necessary. There's a lot of individuals who will come to you and they just want someone to listen to the shit that they're going through. They don't want a solution to it. They want to keep doing that shit, but they just want to go ahead and take the emotions and the feelings that they're feeling and put it off on somebody else and then go do the same stupid shit over.
He started paying attention. He started noticing patterns he had ignored for too long.
Yep.
He noticed that the people who called him when they needed something disappeared when he needed them. He noticed that conversations were always about their problems, their lives, their drama. He noticed that when he tried to share his own struggles, the energy changed.
Oh, yeah.
People got uncomfortable.
Yep.
They gave surface-level responses. They changed the
That's one of those, it's cool when you do it, but it's bad when I do it, man. Fuck them.
subject quickly. He realized that most of his relationships weren't relationships at all. They were transactions.
Yep.
People kept him around, not because they valued him, but because he was useful.
Yep.
He was the emotional support, the problem solver, the unpaid therapist,
That shit
the
hits hard.
reliable backup plan. And the moment he stopped playing that role, the
You've
moment he stopped
changed.
being available on
Why are you being
demand,
selfish?
people
What
didn't
happened?
ask if he was okay. They got offended. They called him selfish. They accused him of changing.
Ha.
And that confirmed everything.
Yep.
Because real relationships
Dead
don't
ass.
fall apart when you set boundaries. Real relationships don't disappear when you stop giving more than you receive.
Yep.
Real relationships survive.
I'm not sure if any of y'all have watched any of my previous videos or any videos that I put up, but I have a saying. I'm like, so many people want to hoe with you, but nobody want to grow with you. And even with me being in a relationship, I'm like, I want someone I can grow with. I want us to grow together. I'm constantly leveling up. I'm constantly doing things to put myself in better situations. But it seems like a lot of people in the world just want to be completely stagnant and stay where they are. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. So it's like if we cannot constantly keep leveling up together, the fuck are we doing? You just holding me back.
The seasons when you're not okay, when you can't show up, when you need to focus on yourself. But transactional ones, they crumble the moment the transaction stops. This realization is one of the most painful awakenings a man can have, because it forces him to see that many people he loved didn't actually love him. They loved what he did for them. They loved the version of him that made their lives easier. And when that...
Let me give an example. I could put names out, but there's no reason to. You know, fuck it. Nah. I could be petty, but I'm not going to. I knew an individual. There was times where me and this individual were staying together, and he was like a brother to me. So I thought. Ultimately, he always wanted to throw parties and shit, and I ended up realizing that I was coming out of pocket a lot to help him with these parties, buying the food and all that shit. Just because we stayed together. There was times where maybe he didn't have enough for the rent, I ended up covering that, or either he wanted to go to the club, and I'm like, the fuck, I gotta give you $80 for you to go in and like make it seem like you got all. I'm like, yo, what the fudge? So I started moving away. From that because I started noticing. I was like, why am I the scapegoat having to pay for every damn thing? I'm like, this don't make sense. I'm like, I gotta pay for everything, but everybody thinks that you the one doing all this shit. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm the fucking one controlling the puppet, but the puppet is getting recognized. I don't really care. It is what it is. Whatever. What up the woo. I had another individual where every time, like, I fancied this girl. I wanted to see if something could happen with us. But I guess she ain't feel the same way. But she kept me on the back burner to constantly let me know about all the dudes that she was messing with. I got tired of that shit and told her, I was like, look, I ain't doing this. I was like, every time you call me, it's the same stupid shit. I was like, this dude did you wrong, this dude did you wrong and everything. I was like, but yet I'm supposed to be a sucker and sit here and wait for you to finally realize that I could actually do you right. But every time somebody does you wrong, you call me. And then you pretty much inadvertently say, oh, I wish they were like you, but you don't want to choose me. Nah, I'm cutting this shit off. And then all of a sudden, I became the bad person. I'm like, I'm sorry. That's fine. Go talk to another motherfucker who's going to sit there and be strung along. But I'm like, it's ridiculous. When you stop playing their game, you become the villain. There was another chick I was on a podcast back in the day with, and the last episode we did was Friends with Benefits. She ultimately damn near tried to say, like, oh, we friends with benefits. I was like, no. I was like, actually, you're right. She was like, oh, so what's the benefit? She was like, because I'm not getting enough from you. I was like, yeah. I was like, every week we get on this podcast, we have a good conversation. That's a benefit. She didn't like that. That was the last episode we did. And then she started throwing a bunch of fucking rumors and lies out about me. I'm like, are you serious? So I ain't even going to get into that one. But I'm like, when people don't get what they want, you become the villain in their story. And at this point, I'm like, I'm fine with being the villain in people's story because nobody wants to get to know me, but everybody wants to be around me.
That version stopped existing, so did their interest. So he cuts them off. Not with hatred, not with bitterness, but with acceptance. He accepts that some people were never meant to stay. He accepts that loyalty, depth, and reciprocity are rare. And he accepts that protecting his energy is more important than maintaining relationships that are one-sided from the beginning.
Facts,
There's
right there.
Something even deeper happening beneath this.
What is it?
Something most people never see.
What is it?
Because when a man cuts everyone off, he's not just removing people, he's removing the version of himself that allowed those dynamics to exist in the
How y'all do that shit? Facts, though.
first place. And that leads us to the third psychological truth, the one that explains why he stopped trying to explain himself. Sign 3. He stopped needing external validation.
Yep.
There was a time when his sense of worth was tied to how others saw him, when he needed approval, recognition,
Mm-hmm.
validation, when he shaped his decisions around what people would think, what
Yeah.
they would say, how they would react. He lived
Instead of
in a
staying true to
constant
yourself.
state of people-pleasing, not because he was weak, but because he believed that being good to others would earn him the love and respect he craved.
See, I wish this video was around back in the day. Because if this video was around back in the day, man, a lot of shit that I dealt with and went through, I probably would not have had to. Because I sat up and as I was writing in my journal one day, a couple years back, I was asking myself these questions. Why did I allow this shit to happen? Why did I put up with this shit? And the answers I got were similar to the answers that this individual, that cycle shift, is responding with. The answers that he's providing. And I'm just like, man, yo. But then again, everything happens in divine time, right? So, I mean, I probably would not have received it the way that I'm receiving it now if I had received it sooner than the time that is right now.
But that system broke. Maybe it broke slowly over years. Maybe it shattered in a single moment. But at some point he realized something that changed everything. No amount of external validation will ever fill an internal void. The people he bent over backwards for still criticized him. The people he sacrificed for still left. The people he tried so hard to please were never fully satisfied. And he finally understood that seeking approval from others was a trap that would never end.
Facts.
So he stopped explaining himself. He stopped defending his choices. He stopped trying to make people understand why he needed space, why he was different now, why he couldn't keep showing up the way he used to. Because he realized that people who truly care will respect his boundaries without needing an explanation.
Mm-hmm.
And people who don't care will twist his words no matter what he says. This shift is powerful. It's the moment a man steps into his own authority. He stops living for the opinions of others and starts living according to his own values, his own truth, his own inner knowing. And when that happens, he naturally distances himself from people who only valued him when he was seeking their approval.
Yep.
This isn't arrogance, it's liberation. It's the understanding that his worth isn't determined by how many people like him, how many friends he has, or how popular he appears to be.
Right.
His worth is inherent, and the people who belong in his life will recognize that without him having to prove it. When
They'll
a man
be in his
reaches
life.
this level of self-awareness, he becomes unshakable. He's no longer desperate for connection. He's no longer afraid of being alone. He's no longer willing to compromise his peace for the comfort of others. And that's when people start calling him cold, detached, or changed. But he's not cold. He's just no longer available for relationships that require him to abandon himself. And this leads directly to something even more profound. A pattern that almost every man who cuts people off has experienced. A pattern so common, so painful, that once you hear it, you'll understand why the isolation wasn't a choice. It was a necessity. Sign 4. He was betrayed by people he trusted most.
Mm-hmm.
This is the wound that most men don't talk about. The
Yeah.
one they carry in silence.
Facts. You can have people in your life for years and they'll believe shit that somebody else says rather than coming and asking you or talking to you about it. And then when the truth comes out, fuckers don't even apologize. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
The betrayal that happened when they were at their most vulnerable.
Yep.
When they trusted someone completely. When they believed the bond was unbreakable.
Nah.
And then it shattered. Not from a stranger, not from an enemy, but from someone close.
People taking a situation, lying about it to try and make you seem crazy to people who don't even know you. So when and if people do end up running across you, first thing in their mind is the shit that they were told by someone who doesn't like you because of things that you know about them. And those individuals spreading lies so nobody will believe anything you say if you say it. Crazy. Crazy.
Someone they loved. Someone they would have protected with everything they had. Maybe it was a best friend who spread his secrets. Maybe it was a partner who cheated after he gave everything. Maybe it was family who turned on him when he needed them most. Maybe it was a brother who chose sides against him. Maybe it was someone he mentored who betrayed his trust for personal gain. Whatever the specifics, the result was the same. A deep, cutting realization that even the people you trust most can hurt you in ways you never imagined.
Yep.
And that betrayal didn't just hurt.
That's like getting a hug and stabbed in the back by that person who's hugging you.
It changed him. It rewired how he sees people.
What's up, Joan?
How he connects, how he trusts. Because once you've been stabbed in the back by someone you've taken a bullet for, you don't just become cautious. You become selective in a way most people will never understand. You stop giving everyone access.
Yep.
You stop assuming good intentions.
Yep.
You stop believing that loyalty is common.
Facts. Like my mom, she instilled a saying into me when I was younger, and I didn't really take it into consideration until I got older. Everybody is not like you. What's up, Tink Tink? Everybody is not like you. Everybody doesn't think like you. Everybody doesn't act the way that you do, so don't expect everybody to do the things that you do. And with that, I used to be that individual. I thought everybody had good intentions. I was like, I got good intentions. Why wouldn't they have good intentions? Nah, you fucked up. You're crazy. I'm like, look, I'm not doing anything nefarious. Why would they be? And then as time was going on, I'm like, you know what? I realized the world is the exact opposite of how I am. I'm like, I want to spread love, and it seems like more people want to spread hate or lust. I'm like, I'm good. Miss me with that. I'm like, most people don't want any type of relationship. They want to see how they can use you. What can you do for them? I'm not like that. I'm like, a lot of people want to be stingy with anything they have with me. I'm like, shit, go ahead, take it, because this is just, this is material things. I don't really need this. But I mean, it's ridiculous.
Because you learned the hard way that it's not. This is why men who cut everyone off often seem guarded, distant, or emotionally unavailable. It's not that they don't want connection. It's that they've been burned so badly that they're no longer willing to risk it with just anyone. They've learned that trust is earned, not given. And they've learned that the cost of trusting the wrong person is too high to pay again. So they withdraw. They build walls. They create distance. Not because they're broken, but because they're protecting what's left of themselves. And the people who judge them for it, the ones who say
they ain't meant to be in your life anyway,
or you're too closed off now, those people have no idea what it took for him to get to this point. They have no idea how many times he tried to trust again, only to be disappointed. They have no idea how exhausting it is to constantly be let down by people who claim they cared. But here's the truth that nobody tells you. This pain, this betrayal, this isolation, it's not the end of his story. It's the beginning of his transformation. Because when a man is forced to face the darkness of human nature, when he's forced to see how selfish, how shallow, how disloyal people can be, he has two choices. He can become bitter and closed off forever, or he can use that pain to become more discerning, more intentional, more aligned with his true self. And most men who cut everyone off, they choose the second path. They don't stay isolated forever. They rebuild. But this time, they rebuild differently.
Yep.
And that brings us to the fifth psychological truth.
What's the fifth?
The one that changes everything.
Plead the fifth.
The one that explains why most men who go through this never go back to who they were before.
Okay.
Sign 5. He chose solitude over fake connection.
Ooh. Yes. I did a episode some time ago, and it's called "Being Alone Does Not Make You Lonely." And the reason I had chose to do that episode was because I go out by myself all the time. If I invite anybody somewhere, that's because I was already going to do it. Whether you come or not, it's not going to change the fact that I'm going to be there. So if I invite somebody, I'm expecting you'll add to my piece, not take away from it. So I don't invite a lot of people places. I don't really even deal with a lot of people because exactly what he just stated. I'd rather choose my solitude over a fake connection. I'm not going to fake hee hee ha ha for somebody's face. There's a lot of fake people in the world. If I don't like you, I'll let you know I don't like you. I'm not going to fuck with you. I'm like, if I don't want to deal with you, I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not even going to turn and entertain you. I'll go ahead and let you know, like, nah, I'm good, and keep it moving. But I mean, that's based off of having some type of interaction with you already. I'm not just going to look at you and judge and all that stuff. I mean, there are some individuals to where they come by, you can feel the energy off them, and I'm just like, nah, miss me with that. And I'll remove myself before they even get the opportunity to try and engage in any type of conversation with me. But I mean, I choose my solitude, my peace, over being drained by someone who is trying to force a connection or is looking at me as a way of coming up in coming up in any type of way. So I mean, I've gotten pretty good at recognizing that stuff now. But I mean, at the same time, I'm a giver. I'm still going to give. Now with it, like if I'm at work or whatever, I'll do that. Because I got to deal with y'all motherfuckers on a day-to-day anyway. But I mean, if, like outside, out and about, like, yo, work is work. Personal is personal. If I catch you out and about, you're like, hey, what's good? I'm like, yo, what's happening? Da-da-da. I mean, if I don't really mess with you like that, I'm going to keep it just simple and smooth like that. But I mean, like, if we do engage in small talk, which luckily the individuals I work with, it's a small little, tight-knit, wee little family. So, I mean, if I saw them out in town, yeah, I'd engage with them. Now, if they engage with me, that lets me know exactly where we stand. But I'm at the point in my life and the age in my life to where I'm not dealing with no stupid stuff. I'm not dealing with fake people, fake connections, because a lot of the issues I've had in the past was due to that. Individuals who just want things from me and then want to villainize me because I stopped giving them what it is that they want, or because I find out exactly who they are, so I cut them off. And now they want to go ahead and be afraid of the fact that I'm going to expose them, so they want to say all these lies about me in case I do expose them. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, for real? But I mean, hey, people who lie, they're afraid of something. And I'm like, if you an adult, what the fuck you afraid of? I don't believe in lying. I don't believe in doing all that negative shit, because that means you got to deal with it. You got to stick with it for life. I'm a very accountable individual. I'll tell you when I mess up. I'll tell you if I did something, because ultimately I end up learning a lesson from it. So unfortunately, I don't do a whole lot of stuff because I don't mess with a lot of people.
This is the sign that separates men who cut people off temporarily from men who cut people off permanently. It's the realization that being alone is better than being surrounded by people who don't truly see you, hear you, or value you. It's the decision to choose peace over popularity, depth over distraction, authenticity over acceptance. Most people fear being alone.
Let me ask you this question. Have you ever been hated because you are authentically yourself? Have you ever been hated because you're authentically yourself? You're not trying to portray anything else or be anybody else. You're not envious of anybody, nothing like that. Because you know who you are. Have you had people hate you because of that? Drop it down in the comments. I want to hear.
They'll stay in draining friendships, toxic relationships, and shallow connections just to avoid the discomfort of solitude. But men who cut everyone off have crossed a threshold. They've experienced something most people haven't. They've sat in the silence long enough to realize that it's not empty. It's full of clarity, full of truth, full of the voice they had been ignoring for years while trying to please everyone else. In solitude, he found himself again. The version of himself that wasn't performing, wasn't pretending, wasn't adjusting to fit someone else's expectations. He found the thoughts he actually thinks, the values he actually holds, the dreams he actually wants to pursue. And once you find that, once you reconnect with your authentic self, going back to fake connection feels like suffocation. This is why people don't understand men who isolate. They see him alone and assume he's lonely, depressed, or broken.
Way, boy.
But he's not. He's recalibrating. He's healing. He's building a relationship with himself that's
Yes.
stronger than any relationship he had with others. And that relationship becomes his foundation, his compass, his source of strength. Solitude teaches you things that connection never can. It teaches you self-reliance. It teaches you that your own company is enough.
Okay.
It teaches you to stop seeking completion in other people. It teaches you to differentiate between loneliness and aloneness. Loneliness is the pain of disconnection. Aloneness is the power of self-sufficiency. And once a man learns that distinction, he stops accepting relationships out of need and starts choosing them out of desire. This doesn't mean he'll never connect with people again. It means he'll only connect with people who match his energy, his values, his depth. He's not interested in surface-level friendships anymore. He's not interested in people who only show up when it's convenient.
Right.
He's not interested in relationships that require him to dim his light or silence his truth. He's interested in real.
Yes.
And real is rare.
Very
So
rare.
yes, his circle becomes smaller.
Yeah, a
Much
lot smaller.
But the connections that remain, or the ones he eventually builds,
I wanna say something on that. You'll go from having a bunch of people around you to like 3 or 4, but then you also realize that those 3 or 4 people are the same 3 or 4 people that would actually reach out to you. When you had like that big group of people, you were the one constantly reaching out to others. And then when you stop reaching out, you don't hear from nobody. And that's the reason why every year I do this thing on my birthday. I delete all the numbers in my phone. Throughout the year, the numbers that call me, those are the ones that get saved. It keeps my phone book real small. And then I keep up with those numbers that called me, because that lets me know that they think of me. Now, granted, very few people know when my birthday is. I don't broadcast that, and I don't put it on social media, because then they'll get notifications. Everybody won't start calling me. So on social media, I put the wrong birthdays. And I be having people messaging me. People don't even call me. They message me on that social media platform, like, happy birthday. I'm just like, yeah, you dumbass. Anywho. But those who actually call me on my birthday, I'll save their number. And I'll keep up with them throughout the year. I mean, it made it so much easier. I actually had listened to something the other day, and they were talking about how human beings, we have something in us to where we can keep up with up to 100 people, 150 people. Because back in the day, we were like in like tribes of like 150. When we start getting over that 150, that's when things start to fall off. We don't have the memory. We don't have the capacity to keep up with that many people. And I find it interesting because they had even spoke about how with social media made it to where now individuals are just seeking that validation and wanting to be like, oh, I know this many people. You don't know that many people. That's how many people have seen you. That many people who are like, ooh, this person's cute. Oh, this person's funny. Whatever, whoop-de-whoop. But we can honestly only be able to keep up with about 150 people. And if you think about it, a lot of people don't even keep up with 150 people. That was back in the day when it was different areas and tribes where you had a tribe of like 150 people. But hey, getting back into this, the individuals who keep up with you are those that you should really keep around you. And I'm not talking about always calling you wanting something. I'm talking about, hey, how you doing? Checking up on you, seeing how you doing. You know? Because oftentimes, we're the ones having to reach out to other people, and nobody else reaches out to you, unless it is something they want, or they're trying to see if you want to go to this party, or can you drive them, or something like that. I'm talking about individuals who are authentic and wanting to know, and genuine, wanting to know how you're doing. Because, I mean, I've been going through hell for the last 2 years. I ain't hear shit from nobody.
are unshakable.
I've been going through hell for the last 3 years. What is this? Last 3-4 years. I ain't hear shit from nobody.
Growth, not codependency.
Not a
That's
damn
worth more
person.
than
Nobody give a
100
fuck.
Shallow friendships ever could be. But this transformation comes with something most people never anticipate. A shift so profound that it changes not just his relationships, but his entire approach to life. And that brings us to the 6th truth. Sign 6. He stopped carrying other people's problems. For For most of his life, he was the one people leaned on, the problem solver, the emotional anchor, the friend who always knew what to say. And he carried that role with pride because he believed that helping others was noble, that being needed meant being valued,
Nope.
that solving everyone's problems made him important.
Nope.
But over time, the weight became unbearable.
Yep.
He realized he was carrying burdens that were never his to carry.
Mm-hmm.
He was absorbing stress that wasn't his own. He was exhausting himself trying to fix people who didn't actually want to change.
Boom.
He was
That part. I think I hit on that a little bit in the beginning. You got mofos that calling you, always venting on you, just word vomiting. You give them some solutions. They don't want to hear that shit. They just want somebody to rub it off on so they keep doing the stupid shit they doing.
giving advice that was ignored. He was offering solutions that were rejected. And through it all, his own problems, his own pain, his own struggles were pushed to the side because there was never space for them. He realized something crucial. You cannot save people who don't want to save themselves.
You can't want something for someone more than they want it for themselves.
You cannot heal people who are addicted to their wounds. You cannot fix people who benefit from staying broken. And trying to do so doesn't make you helpful. It makes you drained, resentful, and empty.
Yep.
So he stopped. He stopped answering every crisis call.
Yep.
He stopped giving unsolicited advice.
Yep.
He stopped trying to rescue people from situations they kept choosing to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
He set a boundary that most people found offensive. He decided that his peace mattered more than being everyone's therapist. His energy mattered more than being everyone's savior. His life mattered more than being everyone's solution. And when he did this, people got angry.
Yep.
They called him selfish.
Yep.
They said he didn't care anymore.
Yep.
They accused him of abandoning them.
Yep.
What they didn't understand was that he had been abandoning himself for years to
Facts.
be available for them. And he finally...
Back in the day when you would stop doing what you was doing to go help somebody. Don't nobody give a fuck. True but sad. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is the world we live in. Everybody just thinks, what can they do for me? How can I come up?
He chose himself, not out of cruelty, out of survival. This shift is essential for any man who wants to reclaim his life. Because you cannot build a meaningful existence when you're constantly managing everyone else's chaos. You cannot grow when you're stuck playing the same role in everyone else's drama.
Right.
You cannot heal when you're too busy healing everyone else. Cutting people off isn't always about the people. Sometimes it's about the role you played in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realize that role was destroying you, the only option is to step away completely. This leads directly to the final truth, the one that ties everything together, the one that explains why this entire journey, as painful as it was necessary for his evolution. Sign 7. He's becoming the man he was always meant to be. Everything you've just learned, every sign, every pattern, every painful realization, it all leads here, to this moment. The moment he understands that cutting everyone off wasn't about running away from people. It was about running toward himself, the version of himself that had been buried under years of expectations, performances, and people-pleasing. The version that had been waiting patiently for him to remember who he truly is. When a man cuts everyone off and sits in the silence long enough, something extraordinary happens. He sheds every false identity, every mask, every version of himself that was built to please others, and what remains is the truth, the core of who he actually is, his values, his purpose, his authentic self.
Okay.
This process is painful because it requires him to let go of people who knew the old version of him. People who expect him to stay the same.
Yep.
People who are uncomfortable with his growth because it
Yep.
highlights their stagnation.
Yep.
But growth always requires loss. You cannot become who you're meant to be while holding on to who you used to be. And you cannot evolve while surrounded by people who need you to stay small. So he rebuilds. But this time, he builds differently. He builds from a place of truth, not performance. from a place of self-respect, not external validation, from a place of intention, not obligation. He chooses his relationships carefully. He guards his energy fiercely. He speaks his truth unapologetically. He lives according to his own values, not society's expectations. And the man who emerges from this process is unrecognizable to those who knew him before. He's calmer, but more powerful, quieter, but more confident, isolated, but more free. He doesn't need a crowd to feel worthy. He doesn't need approval to feel valid. He doesn't need constant connection to feel fulfilled, because he found everything he was looking for within himself. This is the psychology of men who cut everyone off. It's not about coldness. It's about clarity. It's not about cruelty. It's about self-preservation. It's not about running away. It's about running toward the life they were always meant to live. If you're watching this and you've cut people off, know this. You're not broken. You're not damaged. You're not cold. You're awakening. And that awakening requires you to let go of everything that isn't aligned with your truth. The people who are meant to be in your life will understand. They'll respect your boundaries. They'll honor your journey. And the ones who don't, they were never your people to begin with. And if you're watching this, trying to understand someone who cut you off, understand this. It was never about you. It was about him reclaiming himself. And sometimes, the most loving thing a person can do is walk away from relationships that no longer serve their highest growth. Place your hand over your heart and take a deep breath. If this resonated with you, if you felt the truth of these words in your chest, in your bones, in your soul, then you're exactly where you need to be. Your journey isn't ending, it's transforming. Now say this quietly to yourself. I choose myself. I honor my journey. I trust my path. Say it again. Let it sink in. Let it become your truth. If you've lived this experience, if you understand this psychology, if you've been the man who cut everyone off, or if you're becoming him right now, type I choose myself in the comments, not for validation.
I choose myself.
A statement to your own soul that you're done living for others and ready to live for yourself. Your transformation isn't a tragedy, it's your awakening. And the world needs men who are brave enough to choose themselves, even when everyone else calls it selfish.
Facts. Facts. I completely agree with that. Damn. I'm going to have to go back and watch that again. I got to take more notes. Oh, gosh. When a narcissistic woman realizes she can't control you. Well, I guess I might have to do that one, too. I've dealt with that. I'm sure there's a lot of guys who've dealt with that. Probably some women as well. But, yo, this was your boy, Mr. D, Danli Divine, a.k.a. the Web Spinner. I'm constantly connecting individuals with other individuals that help them reach the places that they want to go. I am just the middleman. I realize that. I am not meant to get big. That is not what I aim to do, and that I know that's not what is going to happen. I'm here to help people. I'm here to bring things to your realization that you probably have not realized now, and that's the reason why this is called Divine Time. So relax your mind. It's divine time. Catch y'all next time. Peace.